Hello, and welcome to The Journey. On behalf of the Enterprise Center and me, your host, Brandalyn Shropshire, we are just delighted that you're with us today. And trust me, you are truly in for a treat. Today, we're going to talk to Genia Church, and she's going to take us all on her journey of becoming a hairstylist and then taking that comb and brush and creating an empire. And don't forget, as soon as our conversation gets started, we're live. So leave all of your questions below. We can't wait to hear from you. And we'll stay on the line after the conversation so we can answer more of your questions. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey. Hello, welcome to The Journey. My name is Brandalyn Shropshire. And on The Journey, we like to talk to entrepreneurs and creatives, not just about their businesses, but also about their highs, their lows, the struggles, everything that goes into their journey. And today we have Miss Genia Church. Thank you so much for joining me today, Genia.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Now, y'all, let me tell you about Miss Genia. Let's see. Let me do a roll call. She is a celebrity hairstylist. She's a hair salon owner. She's an investor, an entrepreneur, an instructor, a motivator. The list goes on and on and on. So we have lots to talk about today. But let's just start from the beginning, Miss Genia. I know you got your start with hair. So how did you get into hair?
So I've always had a passion for hair since I was 9 years old, actually. And I started teaching my own self how to do different techniques and things of that nature. And then when I decided to go to college after high school, I knew I always wanted to do hair, but actually I started and I enrolled in computer programming. I was really good in math, and I know, right? Really good in math and computers as well. And so everyone, tried to steer me away from, doing hair just because the uncertainty of you never know how much you're going to make, doesn't have any benefits, things of that nature. So I started on a different path, even though I knew eventually I would end up getting my cosmetology license. So to speed the story up, I did pursue it and I never looked back.
Wow. Okay. Well, no. We're not going to speed the story up. What made you realize, you know what, everybody else is telling me I should just stick with this because that's where it's safe, that's where the money is. What really made you say, no, I'm going to follow my passion?
So I noticed that that's what I would do on my pastime. I would always do hair. It just kept circling back. And I had an opportunity. I was working for a company at the time as I was going to school, and they had a layoff. And during that layoff, I was able to go to school, continue to go to school without having to work. However, I was able to switch my major at that time. I felt that that was the perfect time to switch my major because it would give me a year to complete the program. And so at that time, I switched my major. And like I said, once I entered the first day of class, I knew that was the place for me.
You were
It was
hooked.
like off. And I've been doing it now for 25 years, and I love it like the first day I got started. So like they always say, if you find something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that was it.
Absolutely. Wow. So you actually got started because of a life change. They let you go on your job. So that made you actually pursue your passion. That makes perfect sense to me. So, okay, so we get to school, we go through the whole school. How in the world did you go from just, I do hair to everything that you do now? Because what a lot of people don't know, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit, not only do you do hair, but you've taken hair to a whole nother level. I know that you're a celebrity hairstylist, but you're also a motivator to others. So let's talk a little bit about that. How did you go from just doing hair to being an owner and an entrepreneur?
So I like to think of my journey as being all about evolution. I actually just recently started a brand, Evolution of a Hairstylist. And so as I look back on my career, because that is something that I've often reflect on, and as I look back on my career, I've seen that it's been about evolving. As our industry is ever evolving, we have to evolve with it. And so for me, that's always been a motivation, because I like to have things that motivate me, not just for myself and for personal growth, but also for the industry and then others around me. So that's what it's been. I'm currently working with a hair manufacturer and it's a global company, and I travel and teach hair color education, and we'll probably get into that a little later.
Yes.
But with that travel, I've been
Mhm.
exposed to a lot of things. And so for me, I've been able to utilize the experiences and bring those back here to Chattanooga and implement some of those things into my business, as well as see some things that I could probably do a little different, because I am a very creative person. And
Yeah.
so I love to strategize and things like that. So I will take pieces of that and create my own. And that's kind of been the whole, I guess, journey in the evolution of my career.
So, okay, I love the word evolve. I love that because, you know, it means that you're not just staying stagnant. You're not staying in one place. But how did you evolve from just, you know, doing hair to owning your first salon?
Okay, so to go back to that story a little bit. So
Uh-huh.
after I graduated, of course, you graduate, you have very few clients, and you're in the process of building your clientele. And so I was currently working, I actually was working at an insurance company as I was building my clientele. And I worked there for years, and that particular company allowed us to flex our time. So
Mm.
I flexed the time working at the insurance company, and on the other days I would work in the salon. And so it got to the point to where I was drained every day going to work. But after I was about to get off work, it was like this burst of energy, like this, I don't know, it was just, I was so excited and pumped up to go to work. And I was like, okay, this is
Mm-hmm.
backwards. I should be doing that full time. And if I needed something to supplement my income, then do that part time, but do what I love full time. So I started that journey. And then as I did that, there were a lot of skill sets that I learned by working at the insurance company. And I've also
Mm-hmm.
worked in accounting before and things of that nature. So all those skill sets, I feel like um, God was preparing my journey at that point to utilize all those skill sets that I had learned to benefit me in salon ownership. So as I worked, I ended up talking to my husband, and I said, you know, I really want to do this full time. This is something I have a passion for. And I have to say, like, he was so supportive. I didn't think that initially he would just jump right on me,
Jump
quitting
right
my
on.
job with amazing benefits and a great salary to go do this full time. And I actually did that. And I worked for a company here locally. And the funny story is, I tell this story and it may help someone else, but I
Please
was
do.
working, making a great salary, and then to quit and give that up to go work for another company, making $7 an hour as an assistant. And that
Oh,
was such a huge shift, but it
yes.
was so valuable because I gained a lot of experience and knowledge about myself and
Mm-hmm.
what it took, because I know if this is something I wanted to work towards, that was basically coming in as an apprentice. And so you come in and you train, and there was a lot of things that I learned from that process. And so as humbling as that was, to go
Mm-hmm.
from having a great salary to and going to making $7 an hour, I felt like I wasn't making $1 million, because this is something that I enjoy doing. So I think that that's when you really can't put a price tag on what that's worth.
Absolutely.
And that's where I feel like that shift happened. But going back to your question, and that
Uh-huh.
all those experiences, I think, is what led me to eventually in 2008 stepping out and owning my own business. And so it was a lot of those experiences, like I said, working in the insurance gave me experience in customer service. I worked in the customer service department, and that was something that really helped with that. And then, like I said, the accounting.
Mhm.
And then also, I love people. So I've
Yeah.
always been a people person. I've always been great to connect others, and that was the easy task. But the journey was just making that transition to say this is something I want to do full time.
Well, you actually tapped on something that I think is really, really important to your story and your journey, which is having humility and just being able to go into the experience. And you always land on your feet. That is one thing I have to say about you. You've always landed on your feet, but just taking every experience by the horns and just learning from it to take that to the next level, which goes right back to what you're doing now, which is evolve.
Yes.
So I know, let's talk a little bit before we get into the evolve side of things. Not only are you doing that, and now you own your own salon, but then you took it a step further and you became a celebrity hairstylist. Now, are we allowed to name drop and just name some of the celebrities that you've styled and done their hair? Go ahead, I'll let you.
Yes. I've really been blessed in this journey to meet some amazing people along the way. And I think that before we get to the celebrity styles, I think for others who are looking to do something similar and wanting to take their careers to new levels, I think that preparation meets opportunity, then success happens. And so I feel like we have to talk about the preparation that guided me or helped me be able to maximize the opportunity once I was presented with it. And then I feel like we're still striving for success, but
Yes.
success in reaching that particular goal was able to happen. And I think that I can tell everyone, like, it's really through education, continuing your education, and really striving to be better at your craft, no matter what field that is. That's what's going to prepare you so when the opportunity comes. So then once I did that, I was able to meet some amazing people and then capitalize on the opportunity to work. My first award show was American Music Awards, and at that time, you know, I had an opportunity to work with Genia. She's one of the talk show hosts of The Real.
Yes,
I've
The Real.
worked with Lauren Elena. I worked with Andy Grammer, who is also an artist. He's amazing. Gavin DeGraw, Lance Bass from NSYNC. Also had an opportunity here locally to work with Earth, Wind & Fire when they came to town. So I was able to cut their hair.
So, Genia? Genia?
Several others, but
it cut out on us just a little bit. But let me ask you this as well, and hopefully you'll be able to hear this question. We'll just have to edit through it. Can you hear me? I know it cut out on us just a little bit.
Yes.
The last person I heard you say was Earth, Wind & Fire. But even going back to that, there's something that I really want us to go back to for just a minute. You know, before I asked you about hairstylists, but the first thing that you did was say, wait, before I got to that point, I had to educate myself and I had to prepare, which speaks so strong about the instructor in you and the motivator and the mentor that you are. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Just the fact that, you know, I like to think of you as a beautician's beautician, because not only do you understand the nature and the business of hair, you understand how to teach people to how to get into it and what they need, the skills that they need. So let's talk a little bit about that. I love how you're like, no, let's talk about this first.
Yes. Well,
so, what made you do that? How did you get into being an instructor?
Okay, so I began educating for a product company, and the way that I got into becoming an educator for a product manufacturer is my curiosity and the always wanting to learn more about the products that I'm working with, as well as how they're going to benefit me as a stylist and as well as a client for my guests. So I started down the path of exploration, like trying to find more and learn more, and then stumbled upon becoming an educator, actually, because that was not something I set out to do. However, it was something I had a desire to always learn. So, and I'm always sharing. But believe it or not, I was always reluctant to speak in front of people, you know, like public speaking. I know that was one of the courses that I would say, oh, I would take that last. I know people say you talk all the time, but anyway, that was one of the things that I shied away from. So that wasn't something that was on my list of things to do as far as initially. However, I got into it, and what I found is that I really love being able to share with other people experiences that I've learned and how that's benefited me and how I can take that and help others. So that's how I become an educator for the product manufacturer, Schwarzkopf Professional. And they, I can say they've done a lot with training and instilling a lot of extra things to our toolbox, I should say, and it really has strengthened me as a presenter and educator. And so to go along that journey, I was presented with an opportunity about 3 years ago. Someone came to me because they heard what I had been doing, and they wanted me to work. Well, they were looking for someone at a local cosmetology school. And so because I love my industry and I love what I do, I really, my time is really maxed out. I thought, I really don't have a lot of time. However, I can help you find someone, is what I said. And so the owner of the school, we sat down, we had an interview, and he basically said, well, that's great, but I want you. And I thought, well, I don't know how I can how this can happen, because I'm pretty, stretched to limit. So, yeah. But it was something I had a passion for. And I saw his desire to, really turn his program around and take his program to the next level. So I was like, this is something I want to be a part of, because it's helping the future generation of our industry. So at that point, that's how I tapped into. Now I'm the executive director of cosmetology school at Chattanooga College, medical, dental, and technical careers, and I oversee their program and their instructors, and they're able to be flexible with my schedule to allow me to come in and input some of those same business strategies that I've done with my career and as an owner and as an entrepreneur, as well as take my background and experience in my industry and put them together. And we've now grown it to be the largest cosmetology school in Chattanooga. So that's how that all happened.
Gosh, well, okay. So you're an instructor, you've got the hair salons, you're traveling, you're all over the place. How in the world do you manage that, as well as being a wife, being a mother? You're just doing it all. How do you just stay sane and keep everything afloat?
I told someone this, and I don't know if other people do this, but we're just being transparent here. Like, I compartmentalize everything that I do. And so this helps to keep me balanced. This helps to keep me sane. As I'm working, if I'm at the school, I'm at the school. I'm in that box, and I'm focused on the school. When I'm working in my salon and I'm working behind my chair, my clients are the most important. I am focused on that. Like I said, I'm not sure if you called it earlier, because I think we may have an issue, but I said that I like to work on the celebrities that are in my chair as well. I like to celebrate the clients that I have, because to me, they're just as important. And that's what makes my business. Those are my bread and butter clients. And so I like to say that. So even though my time is limited behind the chair, that's what I do. So as I'm working in whatever I'm doing at the time, I try to compartmentalize it. And that's how I stay sane. Yes.
Gotcha. Keep it in the box. That makes perfect sense. Well, if you were talking to somebody who saw you and said, I want to be just like her, I know that they need to be prepared, they need to educate themselves, but is there any other advice that you would give someone who wants to follow in your path?
Yes. I one of the things that I would say is always be a sponge, always be open to learning, always know that we have never arrived, right? We're still striving for our next goal. We're striving to be the best we can be, and also to be better than we were yesterday. And so I think that if you're always open to that, you can grow, because if you're not growing, you're dying. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. So now what's next for you? As if you have room for anything else, what is the next big step for you?
So I'm working currently on a project that is a very, it's definitely in the hair, in the beauty industry, and it's gonna revolutionize the way that we train, as well as the way that we staff the beauty industry going forward, as far as balancing the benefit of education as well as the experience. And so there's a little thing that I'm working on in that, and that's the little thing. So that, I like to say, that's my retirement plan.
I understand. I hear you. And something tells me you won't be retiring anytime soon. Your passion keeps you on the move. It keeps you on the move.
I love what I do, and I don't see myself ever really giving it up. I'll always continue to work in this industry, and I love seeing other people reach their goals now. And so that's one of the things, like going back to what's next for me, is really tapping into the evolution of a hairstylist. And for all of the, yes, for all of the other hairstylists who are interested in doing something like this, or if they just been to a point of burnout, I think that's for creatives and entrepreneurs alike. Sometimes you can work so hard and then you get to a wall and you feel like there's a feeling of burnout. I think that that's when you have to evolve and also fall in love with your career again. And that is something that through the seasons and through the change that happens throughout that journey, that is something that you have to be mindful of. And so for me, I would like to share that with others.
So let's talk about that before I let you go, because you hit a nugget. Have you hit that wall in your journey where it was like, you know what, I've had enough. I need a musa. I need to walk away. Has that ever happened for you?
Well, I would like to talk about, that is a great point that you bring up, because we didn't touch on this. So I would say that, I don't know if it's a wall, but I would say that you do hit those points where you know that, okay, I've tapped as far as I can go with this, and I feel like there's something more. And for me, that has been redesigning my business model. And so we didn't touch on this, but I've worked and, like I said, started the business back in 2008. And I started with a business partner who's an amazing business partner. And we worked together probably until 2017, where she decided that she just wanted to, she had young kids and she wanted to be home more and be with them. And so at that time, she decided that it was better for her just to, still continue to work there, but she no longer wanted to be in the business partnership role. She just wanted to be a stylist. And so I totally honored that, and we respect that, and we still continue to work together for years after that. And that right around that same time was when my travel picked up. So my freelance career and traveling and doing things like that. So the business model that we had at the time was a commission-based business model. And so that no longer fit my lifestyle at that time, and there was a shift that needed to happen. And so as I worked through that and, tried to figure out, what was going to be the best thing, I think at that time I realized this isn't the best business model for what I see going on in our industry as on a larger scale, as well as for myself. Because right now we have a lot of salon suites that are opening up, and that's a different business model where individuals are able to go in and start their own business with little, low increase for business ownership. And that was becoming increasingly popular across the country. So I could see a shift that was happening. And so a lot of what I have done is being able to recognize that, and that all happened around the same time frame. So I made a shift, and the shift ended up being that my large salon that I had on Fraser Avenue, I had 2 locations, one on Fraser Avenue and one over in East Brainerd, and inside of one of those salon suites, just so I could service both clienteles on both sides. At that moment, it was when I realized that this smaller, more intimate boutique feel is the way that people are going. So much so that even with COVID-19, this was important, because the larger environments, people were shying away from. And so now that one-on-one personal attention is more so what we're going to. So at that time is when I decided to take a shift, and that's when I began investing in also opening up smaller boutique salons, and that's when that shift happened. And so I would say that it did happen once I hit a point of realizing this model isn't working for me, and it's okay. I would say it's okay for you to make that shift and find something that's going to benefit both. So for me, it benefits our stylists. It also benefited me, and it's been a great way to help empower them in salon ownership and understanding the business side of things as well. So
But it goes right back to all the values you've talked about. Not only are you an instructor, so you are empowering them, like you said, but also you said you like to celebrate the client that's in the chair. You give your full attention. And so that only further magnifies that, giving that attention. So, wow, that was a major shift. But you were up for the challenge. You've given us a lot of nuggets. You talked about humility, being prepared, having the education you need in that preparedness. What else? It was so many. I should have written them down as you were talking. You are just a constant teacher, a constant motivator. We truly do appreciate you for sitting down and giving us a few minutes of your time to talk today. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Miss Genia is going to have all of her information listed below. So if you would like to contact her, get information not only about her business ventures, but maybe you are interested in becoming a hairstylist and need some advice, or want to get into the business and want to find more information out about the school. We'll make sure to put all of that below, but the fun is not over. We're now going to open it up for questions. So although this was previously recorded, we're on the line right now. So ask your questions. We're here for them.